In order to save his father, Wu Fan had to become the doorstep son. Law in the city. It's just that the city people look down on him, and his family, except for his aunt, are all trying to make things difficult for him, especially his wife. Despite his feelings and dignity, she has an abnormal relationship with other men. In a fit of anger, Wu Fan returned directly to the countryside, determined to revitalize the countryside and make the city people look up to him. In the end, his father. Law and his family knelt down and begged. Chapter 0001. Human Death Without Money to Treat. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Wu Fan, stop writing now and come over quickly. Your father's situation is not right again. While thinking like a spring of water and working hard to type on the keyboard to write an online novel, my mother's panicked voice suddenly came over. Wu Fan is 1.75 meters tall. Although he is a bit thin, he still has sharp edges and is somewhat handsome. After graduating from high school, I didn't get into college and returned home to work for a year, making life very difficult. Fortunately, I used to read some online novels at school and knew some of their tricks. So I tried to submit them 10 times, and finally signed a contract with a literary website at a price of 6 yuan per 1,000 words, commonly known as the price of cabbage. After writing for several months and barely making ends meet, my father suddenly fell ill. This disease lasted for a month and was sent to the county hospital for treatment for half a month without improvement. Later, he was kicked out of the hospital because he didn't have money to pay for hospitalization. I invited an old traditional Chinese medicine practitioner from the village to prescribe a few patches of medicine, but it didn't have much effect. My body is getting worse every day. Cough. My father coughed violently, and there was already half a basin of blood on the basin in front of the bed, splattering all over the ground like killing a pig. Your father may not be able to do it, what should we do? Mom Meng Jiangmei tearfully looked at her son helplessly. Dad, how are you doing? Why don't we take you to the hospital? No, Dad can't delay you anymore. Besides, where else can we borrow money to go to the hospital? We already owe someone 100,000 yuan. Don't spend a penny on me anymore. Without money, how can you marry a wife? Promise me to live a good life with your mother. Father Wu Dahai smiled weakly but firmly. Dad. Wu Fan's tears welled up uncontrollably. It's okay, don't be too sad. Birth, aging, illness, and death are also natural phenomena. Go and call your uncle and village elder Lu over. Wu Dahai smiled bitterly and waved his hand. Wu Fan rushed out of the door while wiping his tears. Watching Wu Dahai's situation, Uncle Wu Datian and village chief Lu Tiansheng who arrived shook their heads, feeling very uncomfortable in their hearts. They all understood in their hearts that Wu Dahai might not live long like this. Big brother, Lao Lu, it doesn't matter if I die, just bury me. In the future, Wu Fan and Jiang Mei, mother and son, you need to take more care of them. I owe so much money to treat my illness, and I don't know how they can repay it. Oh, my biggest regret in this life is leaving them a large debt, and I haven't seen a Fan marry a wife. Wu Dahai held the hands of his two brothers, crying uncontrollably. The two rural men couldn't help but shed tears and felt heartbroken. Taoyuan village is the highest village in Tianshui County, with no roads and almost isolated from the world. The villagers have little income and every household is impoverished. So even if they are determined to help Wu Dahai, they are powerless. Oh my God, look at the sea. I'll go borrow some money. As long as I have a breath, I'll send it for treatment. Village chief Lao Lu called Wu Datian aside and said. But half an hour later, he returned very dejected, holding a crumpled loose bill in his hand. In the name of a village chief, he only borrowed no more than 500 yuan. It's not that the villagers don't give him face, it's that almost most villagers don't have more than 10 yuan at home. Many villagers also came over, sighing helplessly one by one. Why do you want face so much? You can't do it now, can't you?" At that moment, a voice full of confidence rang out. Everyone turned around and found out it was Aunt Ling San. Chapter 0002. He Married Out. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Aunt Ling San is wearing a loose blue-bottomed floral outfit with short hair, and looks very capable. She is a famous matchmaker in Tianshui County, and half of the girls in Taoyuan village were married out of town by her own hands, developing a good voice. "How could you speak like that?" Old Lu glared at him. "That's right, I told Dahai a few days ago that Wu Fan would become his son-in-law. He is a wealthy man from the city and promised to give him 300,000 yuan to treat Dahai as long as Wu Fan marries into her family. This is a great thing, but Dahai is so foolish." Aunt Ling pouted. "No." Wu Dahai interrupted her, "A good man doesn't want to be a doorstep. Besides, I only have one son, so I can't do it. I'd rather die than let Wu Fan be the doorstep son-in-law." Perhaps due to excitement, as soon as Wu Dahai finished speaking, his body suddenly straightened, his eyes closed, and he remained motionless. "Dad, Dad! Lao Wu, Lao Wu!" Wu Fan and his mother pounced on him and shouted. "Excuse me, excuse me." At this moment, the old doctor from the village rushed over. After checking his pulse and examination, he said, "Don't be too sad. He hasn't died yet. I'll prescribe some ginseng for him to breathe. You should think of a way to take him to a big hospital. He should still be able to be cured." "Can it be cured?" Wu Fan's eyes became bright. "It should be possible." Wu Fan wiped his tears and said to Ling San, "San auntie, I am willing to be my son-in-law. Okay, good child, with filial piety, I'm going to contact you now." Aunt Ling's heart trembled, she nodded with a bitter smile, and then left. In rural areas, most men are most hesitant to become a son-in-law, especially if there is only one male in the family. They would rather be single than want to break in. On that day, Wu Dahai was taken to the municipal people's hospital. In the evening, Wu Fan wrote a leave notice on the website, "Dear readers, we have no choice but to go to the wealthy woman's house tomorrow to become our son-in-law. This novel has been temporarily suspended for updates. Thank you for reading." The next morning, with the help of the villagers, Meng Jiangmei held several banquet tables and planned to marry her son. Although it was a wedding banquet, the villagers drank it bitterly. A good man doesn't act recklessly. Watching Wu Fan wearing the suit prepared by the woman and about to leave Taoyuan village, who doesn't feel uncomfortable for him. While waiting for the other party to arrive, we kept discussing. "This woman must be ugly, she's actually coming to our Taoyuan village to recruit a son-in-law. Either blind or lame, they should be disabled anyway. Either he's old and ugly, he can't even find a husband in the city, so he paid 300,000 yuan to come find his son-in-law. In no time, a group of brightly dressed men and women appeared on the other side of the mountain road. "The person who will pick you up is here. Number 34, wow, it's so beautiful." The arrival of the bride made this small mountain village boil with excitement, and the vast majority of people were shocked. I saw the bride Lin Miao, who was young and beautiful, with a tall figure, delicate face, and a rosy complexion. She was an absolute beauty. Wow, what's going on? I thought it was ugly. Why does such a beautiful girl insist on finding Wu Fan as her son-in-law? There must be some conspiracy, right? That's right. She's so beautiful and wealthy in the city. With just a wave of her hand, men line up in long lines. Why do you have to find a rural person? Do you still want to pay? It's weird here. The villagers have everything they say, and they can't believe there's such a good thing. The woman not only pays the price, but also looks as beautiful as a fairy. It's really abnormal. What a damn place, it would take half of my life to come up here. Poor mountains and treacherous waters, what bad luck. A woman with a stern face glared at Wu Fan and her mother in front of her. Mother-in-law, please take care of yourself. When Wu Fan arrives at your house, take care of her more. Meng Jiangmei walked up to her, tears in her eyes, and humbly accompanied her with a smile. Hu Xiaoying is the mother of the bride Lin Miao. Her nostrils are facing the sky, and she doesn't even look at her directly. She looks disgusted and says, "Don't shout so affectionately. It's Wu Fan who married my Lin Miao and has nothing to do with you poor people. Don't think we're relatives, you country bumpkins. Don't keep looking for him, go to work." After speaking, he turned around and walked away, shouting, "Let's get married." Wu Fan turned back 3 times and looked at his mother and the villagers behind him with no signs of happiness. His heart was sour and he secretly swore, "I must make Taoyuan village prosperous in the future, let all the villagers live a good life, and no longer be looked down upon by the city people." The Lin family was very lively, playing gongs and drums, and decorating with lanterns and decorations to marry Wu Fan, filled with joy everywhere. Why would such a beautiful woman let herself come to her door? When will Taoyuan village become wealthy, so that even if there is illness, there is no money to go to the hospital? Wu Fan sighed deeply and unconsciously got drunk. "All right, husband, let's go into the bridal chamber." Lin Miao hugged him, her face flushed, and she said softly in his ear. Chapter 0003. Why is this woman like this? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Wu Fan opened his eyes and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. He found himself still lying on a bed with the word on it, with Lin Miao lying beside her, as beautiful as flowers and jade, wearing only the clothes inside. Am I married? Did I have an affair with her? Is this true? Why don't you remember? Everything really feels like a dream. This woman only met for the first time yesterday, but today she is lying by her side, which feels unreal. Wu Fan shook his head and couldn't remember what happened last night. However, looking at the scene in the room, it seems that Lin Miao and I have become a true couple, but I was drunk and couldn't remember what happened when I woke up from sleep. Looking at his wife's swirling face, smelling the elegant fragrance, a sense of happiness surged in his heart. Wu Fan couldn't help but cry sweetly, "Wife." Pop. Lin Miao was startled to wake up, and when she saw Wu Fan with a pleasing smile on his face beside her, she slapped him directly. "I warn you, don't move your manual feet. You can't get close to me without my permission. Starting tonight, you can go to bed." Lin Miao stared at him with a gloomy face and immediately got up to get dressed. No, aren't we already married?" Wu Fan looked bewildered. "Yes, my parents want a grandson, so they forced me to get married. I got married last night and may have been pregnant with your child. Therefore, I need to have a baby for a while in the future, so you can't touch me anymore, understand?" Wu Fan scratched his head, obviously unable to figure it out for a moment. Getting married for one night and being able to conceive, and having a baby. There seems to be something wrong. Bang! At that moment, the door was kicked open. When Wu Fan saw his mother-in-law Hu Xiaoying walking in, he quickly covered the blanket and felt quite dissatisfied. "Auntie, are you? Useless things. My father is sick and doesn't even have the money to treat him, so I can only be a doorstep son-in-law. Why are you so looked down upon? You're still sleeping, so poor and lazy. Why don't you hurry up and cook, then sweep the floor and do laundry?" Hu Xiaoying roared as she pulled at the blanket. Wu Fan was confused and thought to himself, things seem to be going wrong. How could a mother-in-law treat her son-in-law like this? What's more, although Hu Xiaoying is almost 40 years old, she is also very beautiful, and her skin color is also good. Lin Miao looks like a sister's. On the first day of her marriage, she lifted her son-in-law's quilt. She doesn't feel embarrassed, it's a bit inappropriate. "Mom, you have to make him dress. Lin Miao pulled her out. Wu Fan quickly got dressed while they were out. At this moment, Hu Xiaoying's voice faintly came from outside. Didn't he get it? Don't worry, Mom, I have a plan in mind. On the other hand, Meng Jiangmei, who arrived here yesterday after her son got married at Tianan People's Hospital, opened her heavy eyelids. Last night, she kept her eyes open and accompanied Wu Dehai. At midnight, Wu Dehai finally woke up and talked to her for a while. She told him that the village chief had found a way to borrow money, and her son was guarding the house, so he didn't come to take care of him. How dare you say that your son has already become a son.in.law at home? Hey, where's Lao Wu? When she opened her eyes and saw that the bed was empty, her heart skipped a beat and she quickly went to the bathroom to look for it. After no one was around, I went to the door to look, but there was still none. I'm so sick, where can I go? It's not like I jumped off a building and committed suicide. I don't want to implicate my family. What, your husband is missing? The nurse at the nursing station also looked shocked after hearing her report. Chapter 0004. Little Sister Suddenly Appears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Medical staff immediately searched the entire hospital, but still couldn't find anyone. However, a prescription note with a few sentences was found under the pillow of the hospital bed. There are a few lines written on it. Lin family, Wu Fan prepared breakfast, respectfully placed it on the table, and served his wife and family. My father.in.law Lin Tianlong didn't say anything, just looked at him meaningfully. And Hu Xiaoying pointed at him and said, Wu Fan, since you have married into my house, you must abide by the family rules. Firstly, you cannot bring anyone in, especially those poor relatives in your countryside. Secondly, you have done all the household chores, but you cannot leave the house except for buying groceries. Thirdly, you must protect Lin Miao and listen to her. Do you understand? I understand, Auntie. Although Wu Fan was unwilling, he could only agree. Once you understand, just go ahead and eat. Don't eat at the same table as us. You're disgusting and full of poverty. Hu Xiaoying pointed at his nose, looking disgusted. Oh. Wu Fan silently walked into the kitchen. I must make money, not be such a cowardly son.in.law. I also want to make the people of Taoyuan village wealthy, and not repeat the tragedy of my own family, he swore to himself. Number 34, do. At this moment, the second-hand phone in my pocket rang. Mom, how's my dad doing? Seeing that it was my mother calling, Wu Fan quickly answered. Fanner, it's not good, it's not good. Meng Jiangmei cried out, your father's gone. What? It's gone, what does it mean? Did it get lost? Wu Fan felt a thud in his heart and stood up, trembling with anxiety. Yes, he left a note saying he didn't want to implicate us and had already left. He told us not to look for it either. He would find a suitable place and wait there to die. What should we do now? Mom, don't worry, I'll come over right away. Wu Fan hung up the phone and rushed out of the kitchen. Stop, where are you going? Lin Miao called out in time as he was about to open the door. My dad is missing, I need to find him. Bastard, I just told you about the family rules. You can't go out except to buy groceries. Did you forget about it? It's normal for your damn father to die, don't you have to worry about it. Hu Xiaoying glared at him. Auntie, you can listen to anything, but I can't ignore my father. After Wu Fan finished speaking, he opened the door and went out directly. This poor guy is so angry with me. Hu Xiaoying's body trembled with anger. Alright, Mom, you don't really want him to be a son.in.law. After I give birth, let him go. Why bother with him? Lin Miao said dismissively. Wu Fan rushed to the People's Hospital of the city and saw the note. I'm leaving, don't look for me. If I can't find it, I'll find a place to die on my own. It's not easy for anyone to refund the money borrowed by the village chief. If I can't repay it with so much money, how can Fan marry an old lady in the future? His tears wetted the paper. Then we went around with our mother to find our father. Finally, with the help of the police, it was learned that my father had left Tianshui City and disappeared in the direction of returning home. Falling leaves returning to their roots, does my father want to die in his hometown? So Wu Fan and his mother returned to Taoyuan village and notified the village elder Lu and Uncle Wu Datian. Everyone sighed and mobilized the villagers to search nearby for 3 days, but in the end, they had to give up. With the comfort of his mother, Wu Fan returned to the Lin family and continued his life as a son-in-law. During this period, his mother-in-law Hu Xiaoying hardly treated him as a son-in-law, only used him as a servant, and even if it didn't go well, she punched and kicked him. Lin Miao always watches the excitement from the side, never persuading her mother. Occasionally, she even harshly scolds him, "You're useless, useless." 1 month later, on this day, both his wife and parents-in-law went out. Wu Fan finished housework and lay on the floor of the room to rest for a while. At this moment, a girl who was about 1.7 meters tall, with flowing long hair and a sweet and seductive appearance suddenly walked into the room and looked at him quietly. "Oh, it's you. Why did you suddenly come back?" Wu Fan quickly stood up and asked. The one who came in was his wife's sister Lin Yin, who is 17 years old and rarely stays at home. "I saw it once on the wedding day, but I never returned home afterwards." Lin Yin hesitated and said, "Brother-in-law, do you know why my mother and sister are not treating you well?" Chapter 0005. Jumping into the Yellow River to wash unclearly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm too poor, they look down on the poor. Wu Fan said truthfully. Number 34, poverty is certainly one of the most important reasons, but it may not be the whole story. Didn't you think about it again? I can't think of any reason. Wu Fan shook his head. He really doesn't know. Lin Miao is at home and doesn't even look at him directly. The two of them talk a few words a day, and the other person still has a commanding attitude. What kind of communication can there be? Do you think your marriage to my sister is too abnormal? Lin Yin looked at Wu Fan sincerely. Well, yes, I asked her why she wanted me, a rural person, to be her doorstep son-in-law. The Lin family is a big family, and how many wealthy young masters are willing to come to her door, but she hasn't answered directly. Wu Fan did have doubts about this matter. Brother-in-law, don't tell them I said it. I heard that my sister has actually been in love with others for a long time, and she is already pregnant. People with social status know about it. Getting pregnant before marriage is the most shameless thing for a person, and in the upper-class society, she will become a bad woman, so no one will want her again. For the sake of face, we have to quickly find a rural person to stop others' mouths, and then we can say it's your child, instead of going crazy before marriage. What? Upon hearing Lin Yin's words, Wu Fan was greatly surprised. No wonder Lin Miao didn't let herself get close, and even said she might be pregnant and want to have a baby. It turns out she's already pregnant with someone else's child. This kind of news was like a thunderbolt, causing him to not come to his senses for a moment. Hee, I'm so tired. There's been so much going on in the company these days. Just then, Lin Miao's voice rang out. My mom and sister are back. Lin Miao seemed a bit scared and quickly turned around and left. However, it may also be due to nervousness that the sole of the foot slipped and the person suddenly pounced towards the ground. Wu Fan was right across from her, instinctively spreading his arms to support her. Lin Yin fell face to face on him, her face instantly becoming even more shy, and she said softly, Thank you, brother-in-law. Alright, you bastard, you dare to have Lin Yin's ideas. Just then, Hu Xiaoying and her eldest daughter Lin Miao appeared at the door and saw this scene. The two of them cursed angrily at the same time and hit Wu Fan at the same time. When they entered the house, they didn't see Wu Fan immediately come out to change his shoes for them. They didn't greet him with a smiling face, so they were a bit angry. So they walked quickly to the room to see if he was slacking off and sleeping. Unexpectedly, they saw such an unpleasant scene. Stop fighting, misunderstandings, misunderstandings. Lin Yin quickly explained as she blocked their fists. Someone, pull her away and teach her a lesson later. Hu Xiaoying shouted as she blocked and taught Wu Fan a lesson. Two bodyguards standing at the door rushed in and pulled Lin Yin away. Mom, sister, I'm just about to fall. My brother.in-law reached out to help me, don't hit him again. Lin Yin was still explaining for Wu Fan when she was pushed into another room. Brother-in-law. How dare you call him brother-in-law, but you secretly messed with him. You're really embarrassing the Lin family. How did I get angry? Hu Xiaoying scolded. But it seems like something immediately comes to mind. Isn't the eldest daughter just acting recklessly? Is this genetics? It was too embarrassing to say it, so I immediately shut up. Chapter 0006. Warning from Mother.in.law and Wife. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Wu Fan didn't want to reveal what Lin Yin had said, but kept explaining, there was a misunderstanding. She was about to fall, and I instinctively helped her, so you came in. Pop, pop. Hu Xiaoying kept slapping his face. But Lin Miao kept pinching his arm, and the mother and daughter worked together to deal with the son.in.law who was eating in the bowl while still watching the pot. Wu Fan grinned in pain, but he didn't plead or let out a word of pain. If you are a man, you must endure injustice. The person in front of me is my own wife and mother.in.law, and I cannot fight back against them. After fighting for more than 10 minutes, Wu Fan's face was red and swollen, and there was blood at the corners of his mouth. It was only then that the two women stopped. I warn you to be honest at home and not think of my sister, otherwise don't blame me for taking your leave. Lin Miao pointed at Wu Fan's nose and warned. I won't do it. Wu Fan stubbornly said, it was just a misunderstanding. Animal, I'm too lazy to talk to you anymore. We're tired from fighting and our mouths are dry from scolding. Hurry up and make tea for us. Hu Xiaoying sat down panting. Okay. Wu Fan quickly went to pour tea. At this moment, Lin Yin walked out and glanced at Wu Fan. Her heart thumped and a wave of apologies surged. It was precisely because of my own fall that my brother.in.law was wronged. Afterwards, he glared at his mother and sister, shook his hair, and left without looking back. This girl is getting older and more disobedient. Hu Xiaoying exclaimed angrily. Afterwards, he glared at Wu Fan and angrily rebuked, Wu Fan, it's all your fault. You actually took Lin Yin's idea and made her leave with resentment. If there's nothing wrong, our family reputation won't be exposed. If anything happens to her, I'll destroy your entire family. Do you believe it? I didn't have any plans for her, you have to believe me. Believe you? As someone from the countryside, are you worth believing in trash-like things? You coward, how have you ever seen such a beautiful and lovely girl like Lin Yin? And Lin Miao has been raising a baby for a month, so you must have been holding on to bad water, beast. After cursing, Hu Xiaoying turned around and entered the room. There is a strong sense of not talking nonsense to trash people like you. In Taoyuan village, Meng Jiangmei still didn't give up and searched for Wu Dahai all over the mountains. Then all the towns and villages in the county left behind her thin and helpless figure. Just looking for someone is like looking for a needle in a haystack, let alone someone who deliberately avoids you. Wu Fan's younger sister, who is still in junior high school, took a 2-week leave to accompany her mother to find her father. My feet are swollen, my body is tired, and my mind is a bit dazed. Under the dissuasion of the villagers, Meng Jiangmei stopped looking, but sat at the door every day, murmuring, Old Wu, I want to see people in life and corpses in death. Where did you die? Can you give me a dream? After a while, he said again, Fanner, how are you doing at the Lin family? No, I'll go see you. Wu Fan is indeed feeling frustrated. Although Wu Fan did not question his wife Lin Miao on the spot, he could not let go of what his sister.in.law Lin Yin said. On that day, he couldn't help but go to his wife's Jianya Cosmetics company to see what she was busy with all day. Ah! It's them. As they were about to walk towards the company gate, they suddenly saw Lin Miao and a man in checkered clothes walking out from inside. Where are they going? Wu Fan followed curiously. As a result, the two of them actually walked directly into a couple's hotel several hundred meters away. Chapter 0007. Staying in a hotel for half an hour. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Half an hour later, the two of them walked out with a drunken expression on their faces. Wife, you. Wu Fan rushed up and questioned loudly. The green hat is on my head, which man can bear it? What's wrong with me, you useless person? You can only do household chores at home. I need to support this family and don't make the business bigger. I was just discussing business with him inside. Don't think crooked. If we can't do big things, our minds will be in chaos. Hurry up and go home to do laundry. Lin Miao scolded, pointing at him. Do we really need to talk about business? Wu Fan's mind flashed with disbelief as Lin Yin said something. Otherwise, what do you think you can do? At this moment, the tall man walked over and shouted at Wu Fan. Lin Miao, I heard people say that your relationship with others is not very normal, and you may have been pregnant before getting married. Wu Fan glanced at the man, but couldn't help but say this. Lin Miao felt like an electric shock, shaking her body a few times. However, she immediately shook her head and said with some sadness, Wu Fan, which bastard is talking nonsense in front of you? You know, we have many business opponents, and their favorite thing is to sow discord and make my backyard catch fire. They are not interested in business, so all the dirty water will splash on me. The next morning after getting married, you also saw the bed sheets. How could you rather believe the lies than your wife? You've disappointed me too much. I don't mind you being a poor rural ghost who spent 500,000 yuan on treating your father's illness. You don't know how to be grateful, but you've only been married for a month, so you suspect I've been wearing a green hat for you. I heard you were a poor writer who used to write online articles. Did you think the plot was abnormal? Oh, I'm really worried about you. When Lin Miao said this, her eyes were all red and she looked very sincere. Did you really believe Lin Yin wrong? Or perhaps what she heard was just a rumor? Speaking of my wife in this way is really lacking in masculinity. Despite her hard work in discussing work, she still thinks she's acting recklessly. So Wu Fan lowered his head with apologies. Alright, you go back and focus on doing housework. In a few months, when my stomach is big, I can rest and stay at home with you every day. Lin Miao didn't seem to want to blame Wu Fan anymore, so she waved her hand. Watching Wu Fan's figure disappear, Lin Miao gritted her teeth and said, I spent 500,000 yuan to keep my unmarried pregnancy a secret, but which bastard still told him? Just as I finished cursing, I remembered my sister Lin Yin who was with Wu Fan that day. Is it her? No, this secret cannot be leaked. Now that only Wu Fan is dead, no one will investigate the matter of the child in your belly. Everyone will think it is his posthumous child. The man next to him looked murderous. Oh, it's not good, he's also very innocent. In name of getting married and having children, I actually haven't taken any advantage of it. It's too cruel to let him die, isn't it? Lin Miao immediately denied. Lin Miao, if you're really kind, then forget it. The man's name is Lei Meng and he is the owner of the security company in Tianshui City. He has been with Lin Miao for half a year. On the surface, he no longer pursued it, but as soon as he returned to the company, he said to his 2 confidants, "What's that?" "Lin Miao's son. In law, you go and kill him for me. Remember, leave no trace." Chapter 0008. Exasperated Questions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yes. The 2 confidants immediately left. On this side, Lin Miao angrily arrived at the school. As soon as they arrived at the window, the students noticed a stranger and curiously turned their heads to look. They thought to themselves, "Who is this stunning woman looking for?" Lin Miao waved to Lin Yin and she had to come out. "Sister, what are you looking for me for?" "I'm in class." Lin Yin stared at her with some dissatisfaction, as if blaming her for disturbing her studies. "You come over here." Lin Miao pulled Lin Yin to a place where there was no one nearby, glaring coldly at her and asking, "I'm asking you, did you say something to that useless person?" "What did you say? Which aspect are you referring to?" "I have said a lot to him." Lin Yin looked puzzled. "What did he say?" "I heard people say that my relationship with others was not very normal, and I got pregnant before getting married." "Only you have a good relationship with him, did you tell him?" Lin Miao was very angry. If it weren't for being afraid of others hearing, she would have really roared. If you want people to be unaware, unless you have done nothing, there is no wall that is not ventilated. Lin Yin did not answer directly. "So you admit it, Lin Yin. Why did you turn your arm out?" "I had to interact with others to maintain the family's business and got pregnant after being attacked by others. It was also to maintain the family's reputation that I had to find a useless person to hide it." "Do you have any family values?" Lin Miaoji asked. "Sister, you're already married to him anyway, and with a child in your belly, you can rely on him. Moreover, you've been asking him to sleep on the floor all along, and he hasn't touched you, which is very cruel to him. Besides, you mock him, scold him, and hit him every day. Is that interesting? Why don't you give him some money, divorce him, and let him start his life again?" Lin Yin said very seriously. "All right, I know how to handle my affairs myself. As a student, just study hard and don't worry about anything else. In the future, you must keep your mouth shut. When he asks you again, it's like saying it was nonsense." Lin Miao tapped her sister's forehead a few times and left angrily. "Humph, my brother. In law just doesn't have money. In fact, he's much better off than you. You're just a woman who doesn't follow the rules of women. You're messing around outside, but you still say it's for the sake of your family. Damn it." Lin Yin cursed inwardly and quickly returned to the classroom. Wu Fan believed it to be true and truly believed that his wife Lin Miao and the man in the checkered shirt were discussing work in a hotel room, so he didn't take it to heart when he returned. He continues to do household chores such as laundry and cooking every day, taking care of his family, and fulfilling his responsibilities as a son. In law. On that day, when he came back from buying groceries at the market, he suddenly saw a familiar figure walking back and forth at the entrance of the Lin family villa. He looked up at it, rubbed his hands, shook his head, and sighed. Mom, why are you here?" Wu Fan rushed over and threw the vegetables on the ground, holding on to his mother's hand and shouting, feeling inexplicably sour in his heart. Although the family is poor, the diligent mother still keeps the house clean and tidy herself up very neatly. But at this moment, she had a haggard face, a dull expression, disheveled hair, and tattered clothes. Compared to before, she was just 2 people. If it weren't for this being Mom, I'm too familiar with her, I might not even be able to tell that she was the former Mom. "Are you Wu Fan?" Meng Jiangmei looked at him with cloudy eyes and asked. "Yes, Mom, don't you even know me anymore?" Wu Fan's heart shook. Is Mom mentally abnormal? "Oh, I have some impressions. By the way, Wu Fan, I came to tell you that I have found your father." "Ah, I found it, that's great. Where is it?" Wu Fan suddenly became excited and the unease just now dissipated. While drinking with the Jade Emperor, let me go together. I just came to say that I have gone to the Jade Emperor's place. Hee, take good care of yourself and see you again in the sky. Goodbye. Meng Jiangmei turned around and left. Chapter 0009. Mother has problems. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Not good, indeed there is a mental problem. Wu Fan quickly stepped forward and grabbed her, saying, Mom, you go rest first and go later. It's not noon yet and it's not time to drink. Oh, really, you young man quite understands wine culture. Alright, come and rest at your house before going. Meng Jiangmei said with a smile. Wu Fan thought of taking his mother in first, cooking well, and letting his family come back to have food to eat. So he took his mother to the hospital to have a look. After settling down his mother and offering her a cup of tea to drink, Wu Fan quickly went to the kitchen to work. If it's lunchtime and he hasn't finished his meal yet, his wife and mother-in-law won't be polite to him. Half an hour later, the door opened and Lin Miao and Hu Xiaoying walked in, chatting and laughing. Ah, who is this? After coming in and seeing Meng Jiangmei, both of them exclaimed in surprise. Hi, are you also going to see the Jade Emperor? That's great. You're not alone on the Huangquan Road, hee. Meng Jiangmei said excitedly when someone came in. Is she a useless mother, so similar? Hu Xiaoying looked at her daughter and asked after regaining consciousness. It's a bit similar, but I didn't look at her that day. But if it wasn't for his mother, how could he come into our house? Lin Miao hid behind his mother and said in panic. She had already noticed that this woman seemed mentally abnormal. If she hurt herself, it would be troublesome and she wouldn't have to take responsibility. Waste, come out. Hu Xiaoying shouted into the kitchen. What's wrong? Mom, wife, you're back. Wu Fan quickly stepped out, rubbing his hands on his apron in greeting with a smiling face. Who is this crazy woman? Where did you bring it back from? Have you forgotten the family rules? It's not allowed to bring outsiders into this house. Hu Xiaoying pointed to Wu Fan's forehead and cursed. Mom, she's not an outsider, it's my mom. I'll take her out after dinner. Ah, is that really your mother? Lin Miao looked shocked. Why do you feel so crazy? Maybe there's a mental problem. I'll take her to the hospital later. By the way, wife, can you come over and talk? Wu Fan gave Lin Miao a glance. Just say it here, my mother is not an outsider. Lin Miao looked contemptuous and didn't give her face. Wife, it's like this. Can you give me a few hundred yuan later? I'll take my mother to the hospital to see. Wu Fan looked weakly but eagerly at Lin Miao, who was as beautiful as a flower. I'm sorry, you're wasting your money on nothing in my house. You haven't created a single penny of wealth, and you're asking for millions. Do you think money falls from the sky? If you ask for money, there's no way. Now, take your mother out right away. It's disgusting, dirty, and smelly all over. Hu Xiaoying beside her shouted before Lin Miao could even speak. Mom, she's also my mom no matter what. Just consider me borrowing your money, okay? Wu Fan said eagerly. Damn it, still borrow it. Do you have money to repay it? Useless things, poor guy. If you can live and eat in my house for free, you should burn high incense. Thank you so much. How dare you ask for money? Is the food ready? Hu Xiaoying wouldn't give him face. There's still one dish left to fry. Then hurry up and stir fry. Hu Xiaoying glared at Wu Fan. Then he looked at the silly Meng Jiangmei and said, You go out immediately, hurry up, don't dirty the air in our house, go out. Lin Miao next to her was also very cooperative. She opened the door directly and made a gesture of invitation, saying with a smile, Go back where you came from. This kind of situation is not suitable for you. By the way, go under the overpass, there is your organization. Chapter 0010. Extreme Shame. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No, if she goes out now, she'll get lost. We can't let her out. Wu Fan, who had already walked towards the kitchen, quickly walked out again. Pop. Hu Xiaoying raised her hand and gave Wu Fan a fierce slap on the face, coquettishly exclaiming, "Is there any rule left? I won't even listen to what I say." "No, Mom, I can listen to you for anything, but her mother and I got lost. What should we do?" Wu Fan felt a little anxious and his voice grew louder. "Hee, your father is still lost in the hospital. What's the impact? Besides, such a poor mother, don't worry, she will be willing to stay at home in the future. Let her go. Just say one more thing, you give us back 500,000 yuan, and you get out of here too." Hu Xiaoying said with a sarcastic expression. You. Wu Fan was furious. At this moment, Lin Tianlong, dressed in a suit and with a boss-like demeanor, returned. Seeing this scene, he asked, "What's wrong, Wu Fan? Why are you yelling at your mother? Law. It's like this, Dad. My mom's here, she's not mentally normal, and I just want to." Wu Fan thought to explain. However, Lin Tianlong waved his hand and said, "All right, stop talking, Wu Fan. You have disappointed me so much and are of no use, but you have learned to contradict your parents. Oh, we are really blind. How can I deal with us like this when such a good daughter marries you? Dad, it's not like that, I just need to take care of my mother." Wu Fan felt unhappy when he saw that Lin Tianlong was also indifferent and scolded himself. "Get out." At this moment, Hu Xiaoying next to her seemed afraid of getting her hands dirty, so she didn't use her hands. Instead, she picked up a chair and used its legs to prop Meng Jiangmei out of the house. Meng Jiangmei, who walked out with a bang, didn't pay attention and suddenly fell to the ground. Mom. Wu Fan looked shocked and quickly rushed out. "Waste, don't come back if you go out. Also, remember to send back 500,000 yuan within 3 days, otherwise I will chase you to the ends of the world and won't let you, you scammer." Hu Xiaoying angrily pointed at him and shouted. Then with a loud bang, the door closed. A wave of sadness and anger surged in my heart, tears uncontrollably flowing down. People are good at being bullied, horses are good at being ridden, poor people really have no dignity. I must work hard and make you regret it. Wu Fan finally wiped away his tears and swore in his heart. Then he resolutely left with his mother and arrived at the Tianshui Mental Hospital. Just then, the outdated phone rang. Seeing that it was village chief Lu Tianxing calling, Wu Fan immediately answered. "Wu Fan, there's something I have to tell you. Your mother has been feeling a bit mentally unstable these past few days. I asked someone to take care of her, but she left last night while the person was asleep. I don't know where she went. We're looking for her in the village. Let me inform you first so that you can be mentally prepared," said village chief Lu Tianxing with a heavy tone. "Oh, village chief, my mother has arrived at my place and I am about to take him to the mental hospital for examination," Wu Fan quickly said. That's good. Lu Tianxing let out a sigh of relief. Although he's the son-in-law who came to visit, having money is good. Can your mother take good care of her? Alright, call me if you have anything to do. I feel dizzy. Wu Fan can't help but laugh and cry. In the eyes of the villagers, my son-in-law is doing quite well. I don't know that I don't have any money in my pocket. The money for buying groceries is all planned by my mother-in-law, and I have to finish it. However, Wu Fan is still very grateful to the people in the village. No one can treat you without money. Let's go back. When Wu Fan couldn't afford the registration fee at the hospital, the security guard immediately kicked him out.